Hey guys, this is the Optoma HD146X. This is one of Optoma's native 1080p projectors. The reason I wanted to get my hands on this is because I've been doing a lot of budget projector reviews. They retail between $100 and $200, and they're okay for casual viewing. But some of my friends had mentioned that what if they wanted to do a home theater, a dedicated home theater, but on a budget. So I started looking into Optoma and BenQ 1080p projectors, and after some research I settled on this one. So it retails for about $550, so it's actually pretty reasonable. I'll just take a quick look at it. So on your top you have all the physical buttons, then you have your zoom and focus. On this side you have the cutouts for the speakers, and actually I think it's just one speaker, and for the fan. Of course you have your lens and your IR sensor for the remote. Some more cutouts for the fans. The back has all the connections, and there's really not much. There's one HDMI 1080p, one USB type A, one audio out, and that's pretty much it. Of course the AC power in, and this small hole here, I think that's to reset the projector, but that's it. On the bottom you have three rubber feet, and they're all adjustable, so I like that actually, because a lot of these projectors actually give you just one in the front, but this one has three, and it also has 3 holes for mounting. So that's your projector, and besides that we have your power cable, your user manual, and a remote. It comes with batteries, and it also is backlit. Remote is actually pretty functional, and more about that later. So that's your projector. So my goal is to test it, to see how it performs. Now it only has one HDMI input, so obviously you would need to connect an AV receiver if you really want to use it in a dedicated home theater. But yeah, we'll test it all out, and we'll see how it performs. Setting up this projector is actually pretty simple. You can turn on the projection grid from the settings, and then you can adjust the keystone. One thing though, there is no vertical keystone, only horizontal. Having both would have made the setup even simpler, but as it is, with the horizontal keystone correction and the projection grid, I thought that I was able to get a pretty good alignment with my screen, if not perfect. So I really like the remote that comes with this projector. It is fully functional. It's got tons of buttons on it. Pretty much anything you need to do, you can do on this remote, and it's backlit. But the IR sensors on this projector are horrible. I couldn't do anything when I was pointing the remote at any direction other than the projector itself. So I just wish they had designed it a little bit better, but as it is, you have to point it directly at the projector. Alright, so let's take a quick look at all the menu options. You have your display, audio, setup, and information. In the display, it's the usual stuff. You can change the display modes between cinema, vivid, game, reference, bright, user. I thought cinema was the most natural. You could also just use your own custom settings. Then you can turn off the wall color depending upon where you're projecting it. You can have a blackboard, light yellow, light green, light blue, pink, gray. I think if it's a white wall, then you just turn it off. You can adjust the brightness, contrast, sharpness. You can turn off gaming, or you can turn it on. 3D, turning it off and on, aspect ratio, edge masking, zoom the image in or out. You can shift the image up and down to fit it on your screen. You can adjust the keystone. So those are your display options. Audio, there's really not much actually, just mute and volume. In the setup, this is the projection mode, depending upon how you're setting up your projector. If it's being set up as a front projection or rear projection or mounted from a ceiling. You can set that up here. Lamp settings, you can use that to remind you when the lamp is going to run out of juice. You have your filter settings, power settings, security, HDMI link settings, test pattern. This is where you would turn the test pattern on or off when you're trying to align it on your screen. You have your remote settings, further options, and last but not least, just the information on your projector, how many lamp hours you've used, the software version, I suppose, and those are your settings. As far as gaming goes, I think this is one of the best 1080p gaming projectors. With the game mode turned off, I was consistently getting between 30 and 33 millisecond input lag. With the game mode turned on, I was getting between 12 and 16 milliseconds, which is absolutely great. I think for 1080p gaming, this is an absolute beast, and I think all the serious gamers will love it. So the image that this projector projects, it is incredible. I was blown away by how amazing, how stunning it looked. The bright scenes look great. The dark scenes, the contrast is incredible. I was just blown away by it, and even with the lights on and just watching a football game with all the lights on and max brightness, it was like watching a TV. It was just incredible. And especially with the lights off, of course, the image just pops. I am incredibly impressed with the image on this projector. I haven't tried this with my ALR screen, which is a darker screen meant for ultra short throw projectors, but the image still looked amazing with the lights on, and that's because it's such a bright projector. But it absolutely blows your mind when you turn off the lights. The image looks great, and this is a darker screen, and even on the dark screen, the image it was mind-blowing. I was completely blown away by the image. Alright guys, so in conclusion, what do I think of this projector? Honestly, the image is what stayed with me after everything. It blew my mind how amazing the image looked. As you saw, it's incredible. It's stunning that even with broad daylight, I tested it out. I tested it out in my home theater with all the lights on at max brightness, and it looked amazing. I could definitely watch it with the lights on, and that's not something I can say for a lot of these projectors. I have a 4K projector in my theater, and that one performs great with the lights on, but I didn't expect this to perform so well. I was blown away by the image. So at its core, when it's all about the image, yes, it's amazing. It has some limitations. The first one is the remote. Not remote precisely, but the sensors. As I showed you, that the remote has to be pointed directly at the projector for it to work, and I was very surprised by that, very disappointed, because it is actually a very nice remote. It is backlit, it has tons of buttons, and all of them are functional. Literally everything you could think of they have on this remote, but it also kind of renders it useless when you have to point it directly at the projector. So I don't know why they couldn't design the sensors better, but that is one of the main limitations. The other one, it's not so much a limitation, it's just it has one HDMI. So all that means is that in order for you to use it in a dedicated home theater, you'll need to use an AV receiver. But I would think that most people who are intending to use it in a home theater will do that. So that's not so much a limitation. One of the biggest benefits is for gaming. As I showed you, I was getting, and actually they have advertised it as a gaming projector, and on their website they had mentioned 15 millisecond lag, and I tested it out, and that's what I was getting in the game mode, between 12 and 16 milliseconds. So for 1080p gaming, this is an absolute beast. For a dedicated home theater on a budget, this is, I think this is absolutely awesome. I would recommend it to anybody who's trying to build a home theater under $2,000-$3,000. that can still look pretty amazing with the right equipment, with the right screen and the surround sound. So I'm very impressed with this Optoma. Hope you guys like my video. Hope you guys find it useful. If you do, please like this video, please subscribe, and please leave a comment. Thanks.